Left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome everyone to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here live on WYSL, which means that you, the listener, can call in and participate in the discussion. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Thank you so much for joining us today, whether you're listening here on WYSL for the live show or on the live streams too, on A Free Solution, the Facebook page, Free Solution, the YouTube channel, the Kevin Wilson pages, or the Tim O'Connor pages too, because we got Tim O'Connor on Fridays now. He's with us today. And again, Tim O'Connor will be doing Thursdays solo or with a guest too, like his choice. You do whatever you want, Tim. And then Fridays, we're going to be doing the show together. I'll still be on Monday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday is Larry Sharp. So that's the new schedule for A Free Solution. And also shout out down the line to our friends listening over at WACK out in New York and WENY, WENI, the Patriot down in the Southern Tier. So thanks everyone for listening today. And so Tim, the title we put for today's show was Conspiracy Theories versus Conspiracy Realities. So we're gonna be talking about that today. What did you have in mind for this? Because I have a whole theory on conspiracy theories, but you proposed this topic. Tell me what you had when you were thinking about this.
All right. First of all, the world is filled with conspiracy theories, okay? And this is an absolute interesting reality for us. What we found over the course of the last year, especially, is that people get written off as conspiracy theorists when in fact they're telling the truth. So I have a number of areas where we may find truth and where people have been labeled as conspiracy theorists. And I'm looking to have some fun with it, really.
All right, cool. All right. No, look forward to it. Look forward to seeing what you have. I'm gonna give my theory on conspiracy theories though, right? Like the actual conspiracy theories, the government and this shadowy cabal, they are really controlling X, Y, and Z, and they are responsible. And there's always a lot of theys, right? Here's my thing with most conspiracy theories, especially let's say some of the 9/11 stuff, for example. I generally don't believe it, mostly because I have seen how government works. I have seen how competent they are, and I don't believe that they can pull it off. I don't think that they can make it work because there are too many boneheads in government to make make the whole machinations of everything come to fruition, and B, actually keep a secret too. I think there are too many people who would talk about it or write a book about it or whatever, and sometimes it ends up there's stuff that ends up being true. Most actual conspiracy theories are super boring, and they're born out of incompetence and trying to not look bad politically, which we talked about with some of the Wuhan stuff in previous episodes. But and so my only conspiracy theory that I sort of believe in, which is a bit of a joke, is that I think that 9/11 truthers are an inside job. I think that 9/11 truthers were a conspiracy by the government to make them look more competent than they really are. And so that's my one conspiracy that I believe in. All right, but let's talk about some other stuff, because I think I know where you're going with this, and we've talked about some of this stuff on the show, I'm sure, but yeah. So Tim, let's go.
Yeah, so let's go with that. All right, let's travel down that wormhole. The loose change conspiracy theory about 9/11, which, by the way, was written at least in part by a local kid here out of Oneonta, New York. All right,
that's true.
And so I give that kid props for a very creative video presentation. There certainly was a lot of interest, and certainly it made everyone think just a little bit.
I need to know if that kid's on George Bush's payroll. That's what I need to know.
Yeah, so I'm with you for the most part. How do you keep a conspiracy theory quiet? How, in the fact, could we engineer the buildings that were built to implode anyway, make them implode at a certain time without a real event triggering that? So I'm not a loose change style conspiracy theorist. Part of what I want to do is talk about things that may sound like a conspiracy theory, and then see how people feel about that. See how you feel about it. Okay. So the first one that I want to do, okay, and this I think is interesting. Basically, when we started the whole COVID pandemic, okay, there was this statistical model that said 2 million people in the United States are going to die within 3 to 8 months of the beginning of the COVID crisis. So the statistician, perhaps, okay, guys, just is a biophysicist, which is basically a created title, right? We come up with these things where people understand mathematics better than others and they program computers. This guy, and again, this could be just a conspiracy. I could be just making this up, is, how would you say, the architect of the lockdown policy.
Right.
He perhaps resigned in disgrace for not even participating in his own prescriptive measures. He may have been at the center of at least five other controversies where statistical modeling failed miserably when it came down to the mad cow disease and responsible for the mass slaughter of British protein as a response to mad cow disease. The 2005 bird flu predictions of 200 million people being dead. So basically what we're looking at is this guy real? Do you think that I'm talking about a real person, or did I just make this up?
I mean, I know there's a real person behind all those things. I am not aware if it's the same dude for all of those things. That would be, I mean, that'd be news to me. I haven't been paying that much attention, but I know that there's real people behind those things with COVID, with mad cow disease, with bird flu, with all this stuff. Statistical modeling is, well, it's only as good as the assumptions you make, right? So yeah, go on, Tim.
Okay, so the version of statistical modeling that they used in response to the COVID pandemic was simple, straight line, based on, hey, we have these amount of positive tests, this amount of people died, therefore we can infer a 2% death rate. And it's supposedly they needed a supercomputer for this to figure out that at a 2% death rate with no response, 2 million people are going to die between 3 and 8 months in the United States of America. Not only that, but then the guy himself, within a month, retracted everything that he said. So to me, all of this sounds like a conspiracy. Have I convinced you that it's a conspiracy, or have I convinced you that there's a real person behind this?
So I don't like there is like I know there's a real person behind this. Like, so I know I don't remember the dude's name, but like I remember reading that stuff. I remember also saying like, yeah, the 2 million like people statistic, like, all right, like a 2% death rate, right? Like assuming a certain number of infections. Yeah, I remember seeing all that stuff. It what's always like interesting about a lot of these predictions is people remember the first stat, right? People remember the first thing that they hear about something, and then that sticks, regardless of new evidence that comes before them. And actually, you know, I'll throw out another one for you. Maybe you're getting to this, but the stat that came out like February, March last year that said 1 in 5 people who get COVID will be in the hospital, right? And so that's something that people still say. But that stat was based off of who got infected first. Who got infected first? Well, a lot of times there's nursing homes, right? So the 1 in 5 hospital stat only applied to a certain type of person, but we applied it to everyone, and we are still repeating it. And they did a poll recently that said that most Democrats, but not necessarily independents, Republicans, and libertarians, most Democrats still think that 20% of people who get COVID will end up in the hospital. But that's just not true. It's like, it's closer to like, it depends on your age, but like really, it's closer to like 2-3%.
Yeah. So you're actually on numbers there that are correct. And one of the words that I'd like to introduce to the conversation or reintroduce to the world is the zeitgeist, this common knowledge that, again, you guys heard me rant about the media yesterday, but the zeitgeist becomes the common knowledge. And so the prediction that 1 in 5 people are going to become hospitalized from COVID reaches the zeitgeist, our common awareness, and it never goes away. So how do we fix that? But let me unveil the reality here. The guy's name behind the original statistical modeling is Neil Ferguson. He has since resigned in disgrace because he's a philanderer. Okay. He was caught cheating on his wife, breaking the own prescribed rules that he crafted. He's the guy that predicted 2 million deaths within 3 months in the United States of America and 500,000 deaths in Britain. Those predictions made it to the zeitgeist immediately because that's how that works. People freak out. And so Neil Ferguson, it was also behind all of those other things I talked about. The Imperial College of London, first of all, guys, it sounds like a great name, right? And it is probably a reputable institution. I don't want to say that it's not. But some of their statistical modeling over the years has proved to be basically ridiculous, hyperbolic, and way overblown. So we take this authoritarian institution that makes these prescriptions, and we end up with, I guess I want to say a panic, right? A mass public panic.
Yeah. Well, that stuff's engaging, right? Like you don't want to you're like, oh, this is a danger. Like we are hardwired to pay attention to that stuff, right? Like, and that's why the media most of the media knows that, and they write headlines that do that, and you say like, well, we're going to scare people, and we're going to say like, oh, like this, you need to pay attention to this. You need to read this full article so you don't die. And that's how it works. All right. So we're out of time for this segment. We'll keep talking about this stuff too. Again, Kevin Wilson, host for today. Tim O'Connor co-hosted with me today. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. If you want to participate in the show, give us a call, 585-346-3000, 585-346-3000. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate y'all being here. We're live here on WYSL until 1 p.m. So you, the listener, can give us a call if you want to participate in the discussion. 866-552-1009, 866-552-1009. Throwing out the 800 number every once in a while, folks, because I know not everyone's in the Rochester area is listening. You can call that 800 number too. And shout out to our friends who are still listening online and leaving quite a few comments too. And maybe we'll get to some of these too. You see one from Andrew here that says, I'm not buying the numbers. How many people have had COVID, succumbed to COVID? That's kind of a big one too, that people mention all the time. And I'm kind of mixed on this one a little bit, but hey pups. I get how that goes. So actually, I looked up, I Googled Neil Ferguson too, who's the epidemiologist from the UK, and he is still talking about stuff. He's still making like wild predictions. So like there's this new like variant out for COVID called the Delta variant, right? And they just name those like, alpha, beta, etc. And so they have these new variants. The Delta variant's one that's going through England or India, and now it's going through the UK right now. And they're making wild predictions to say like, oh, this is going to be super dangerous and like it's going to affect kids more. Guys, they did the exact same thing with the beta variant like a few months ago. And not to say that it isn't, but we get folks like Neil Ferguson who's gonna throw out these wild predictions, be like, but this time it really is super dangerous, and we need to be scared, and we need to continue these lockdowns, and they let the policy get ahead of the data and the actual danger. Here.
Yeah, that's where we're at. We honestly, every single day I look at the news and they take one statement from a guy and they fearmonger the whole thing. So maybe Neil Ferguson wasn't even, that paranoid about COVID. Maybe he doesn't even feel that we should be worried about this because he totally backed off of his predictions about 2 million people being dead, and that the architect of the whole lockdown strategy, he originally said we should lock down for 18 months to make this disease go away. Even he has backed way off from that, even though now we've got to worry about the Delta variant. I'm going to go ahead and continue my current strategy with COVID, and that's I'm a rural guy. I don't really hang out in big crowds anyway, so you guys do you, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like people, like the media likes to like grab these narratives that reinforce their side too, because like the other side of this had the same thing too. Like there's guys like Gene Epstein, who I normally like very much like. He runs like the Soho forums. They have these great libertarian debates, and he's just like, yeah, no more than 5,000 people are going to die from COVID, and that turned out to be like super wrong. Like it's was it close to like 600,000? Like again, serious thing. It wasn't 2 million people. And there again, we can act on the data. And actually, I'm gonna throw out. I tried to get this person on the show, but she would not come on. Not that she's like offended by the show. She's just busy writing a book right now. But Emily Oster has a good article that just came out recently from her, and it just talks about like how much is the Delta variant actually a danger to your kids, right? Like, and so she breaks down the data and says, okay, how contagious does it look now? How much is it affecting kids versus the alpha variant, the dominant variant that has been going around, the South African variant, the Brazilian variant, etc.? How dangerous is it compared to those? Are they spreading it more? Are the vaccines working? All that stuff, right? Like, so we look at all that and we say, and she's like, nah, the data ain't really there yet. Like maybe it's a danger. We should keep watching this, but the data is not there for us to freak out yet. And anyone doing so like is probably just trying to get like attention and notoriety. And so part of that, again, part of that's the people doing it, like the Neil Fergusons of the world, and part of it's like the media too. It's sensational. Like the human mind's wired to like pay more attention to danger. They know this, and they write articles and do news stories accordingly.
I agree. So here's one that should be interesting. Well, I'm concerned that people have COVID fatigue, because I think you and I could talk about the government response to COVID all day long. But guys, I'm hearing stories about how the Beatles, they're not real. They were never real, that they were completely made up, and that basically they never happened. You got any thoughts about that?
The Beatles not being real. I mean, so I studied history in college, and there's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen firsthand that like, you know, I have to just trust that historians are telling the truth about it. So I'm gonna assume that they're real. They're probably more real than what's the fake? There's an actual fake band that was popular.
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli, was that the one?
Do you remember Milli Vanilli?
Oh no, I don't.
Oh, okay. They were like lip syncing, good looking guys that used to dance around on stage. They never ever recorded their own voice. So what their show was them lip syncing someone else's music, claiming it as theirs, and chest bumping. And they were great. They were incredibly entertaining, but they were also completely fake as far as performance artists goes.
Huh.
So
that's the one. I mean,
I will put this out there. The Beatles were probably the first boy band, okay, where they weren't so much picked for their talent and their skills as much as they were picked for their looks and their charisma. Would that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's totally believable. I mean, they totally did change their sound a bit, like after like corporate, you know, what do you call them, record companies. They got after them and they're like, no, you need to look this way, sound this way, and we're gonna make you a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how much time we got left for this segment, but I think this one will carry over to the next segment because there's a lot to say about this one. UFOs recently, guys, begrudgingly, the government admits that unidentified flying objects are absolutely real, that they are not American aircraft, that they are not corporate produced aircraft, that they don't believe that individuals like guys like Kevin and I, you know, working in a garage somewhere can create these crafts that
they don't
fly
know
at. You don't know me, man. I got a 3D printer that can print all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. No, I'm gonna start building one now just to spite the government.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome if really. So the issue is unidentified flying objects are 100% real, but where does the possible conspiracy come in? Are they alien craft? Are they actually are there beings from another planet visiting us and demonstrating their technology? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and so this ended up being a fake news Friday item for last week too.
Was it? Okay.
No, it was. No worries. So with UFOs, like, I mean, there's some stuff out there. It could be like, I feel like if aliens have the technology to travel huge parts of the galaxy and get over to us, they're gonna have the stealth technology to not be caught on our cameras. But like, just a thought, like, so like chances are it's probably just nothing, right? Like, a lot of times you're looking at this single point of view camera, blurry images, slow frame rate. It's hard to tell how things are actually moving, right? So,
Absolutely.
you know, it's probably nothing, but it could be. Could be something.
Thinking,
who knows?
You know, superior intellect, superior technology. Why would they even visit us? Really? Would they take a quick look at the nightly news? They beam it up they interrupt a space signal, and they just be like, let's just drive past this place, man. This is not where we want to hang out. What do you think about that?
Not where they're gonna go. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's enough to like, all right, we're gonna like send a probe and watch. But you know, like, that's, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like, it's depressing, but like the Fermi paradox, I think, like, comes into play here. Fermi paradox is basically like, why haven't we been visited by aliens? Well, chances are they either don't exist, like there's literally no one else. We are unique in the universe, or they don't have the technology to actually travel here. Like, it's not physically possible to travel like across the galaxy, or across multiple galaxies, or it's that the aliens destroy themselves before they develop the technology to travel, interstellarly. And so that's why, like, we haven't been visited by aliens, because like it's not possible for them to come here, which is almost a sad thought, I think. But so I'm gonna spread around the Fermi paradox. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solutions. We're gonna head to a break for a few minutes, and when we come back, we'll talk more conspiracy theory versus conspiracy reality, some of the stuff the media gets right and wrong, and maybe a few fun ones too. All right, thanks again for joining us on Free Solution. We're gonna be back in a few minutes.
Now it's Dan Bongino, weekday afternoons.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies. There will be the occasional shower. Temperatures near 60 on Saturday. Morning clouds, maybe a shower or two, but that'll clear for a nice afternoon with some sunshine. Temps in the 70s to near 80. Not a rain out for Sunday, but there could be a shower or a thunderstorm during the day. Temperatures again near 80 degrees. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Spring is here, and even warmer weather's finally on the way. To get the best out of summer, think Springwater Amish Workshop, helping you enhance your outdoor spaces. Springwater Amish Workshop has just received a new shipment of double kiln-dried, organically pressure-treated lawn and deck furniture. Gliders, folding Adirondack chairs, picnic tables, and benches will spruce up your lawn for family celebrations and get-togethers. Springwater Amish Workshop has all the decorative touches to make your yard distinctive, including wishing wells, lighthouses, windmills, and footbridges. Gazebo time is here. And of course, they specialize in storage buildings in the size you want, painted the colors you want, and placed just where you need it. Get the best quality, best warranty, best service, best selection. Get yours ordered today to avoid delay. Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Route 15 in Springwater. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com or visit them on Facebook. Call 585-669-9710.
Gerzenda Nursery, Poplar Hill Road, Livonia is a local grower with a large selection. Avoid the big box stores. Gerzenda Nursery has a great selection of perennials, annuals, bedding plants, vegetable plants, and hanging baskets. Browse the greenhouses where plentiful plants are happily growing. Open Tuesday through Friday 10 to 3, Saturday 10 to 2. Credit cards accepted. Gerzenda Nursery, Poplar Hill Road, between Routes 5 and 20 Avon and Route 28 Livonia.
Sheriff Thomas Doherty would like to remind us that underage drinking is against the law. It is illegal to host or allow underage drinking to occur in your home. As a parent, you should know that you couldn't give alcohol to anyone under the age of 21 under any circumstances unless it is your own child. Even if you are in your own home and even if you have that person's parental permission, it is illegal to give alcohol to them.
Get video breaking news 24/7 at WYSL1040.com.
By the time you get your deck ready for the season, cleaning, repairing, staining, or painting, summer's nearly over. Never again. Let Burt's Lumber and Perry introduce you to Duralife composite decking. Never needs painting or staining. Just put it up and enjoy life on your deck. And Burt's Lumber and Perry has Western New York's largest inventory of Duralife decking. 4 colors to choose from: mahogany, coastal gray, teak, or walnut. Duralife composite decking from Burt's Lumber and Perry. Open 7 days a week, including Sundays, 9 to 1.
I'll never forget it. It was 17 years ago. I was riding my Harley-Davidson Wide Glide. I'm riding down Route 119 on a beautiful sunny afternoon, and the wind is blowing through my helmet. So I'm riding along, and I thought, what the hell is that sound? I pulled over to the side of the road, shut the engine off, and the noise was still there. Cicadas.
Oh, no!
They were that loud 17 years ago, and folks, they're back!
WYSL, the home of Quinn in the Morning.
I want to cook you the best cheeseburger ever, in your life, ever. I'm Riley from Tom Walls. Fresh ground steak, 2 slices of cheese. We don't cut corners. Tom Walls.
Tom Walls.
Dispatch Custom Milling in East Rochester offers portable sawmill service. They'll turn your valuable logs into valuable lumber at your site, up to 36 inches wide and 21 feet long. Serving the area for 7 years, visit dispatchcustommilling.com.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here live on WYSL until 1 p.m. So give us a call if you want to participate in the show, 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. Shout down the line to our friends over at WACK out in Newark and WENI, the Patriot down in the Southern Tier. Appreciate y'all being here too. And shout down to our friends listening online too, the Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to those so you can see all these episodes anytime, whether it's me, Tim, or Larry, whoever's on. Make sure you subscribe to those, like the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube. But we're also on the Kevin Wilson page and the Tim O'Connor page too. So thanks wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Appreciate y'all being here. And so before we've been just we're kind of having fun today. It's a Friday. Why not? So we're talking conspiracy theory versus conspiracy reality, and how do you, it makes you think about a lot of ways you can evaluate evidence and how the media runs away with this stuff. Sometimes it's just fun to think about. Other times, it's it actually matters, right? Like with the COVID stuff, it matters when we start to think about these things. With some of the other stuff, we were talking about aliens before the break, right? And the Fermi paradox probably doesn't matter as much. The UFO thing probably doesn't matter as much. But Tim, you want to go a related direction to that, right?
Yeah, I want to travel down the rabbit hole a little further. I enjoy philosophical arguments. I've read thousands of science fiction novels. Every one from all of them in the 50s to the 80s were arguments about morality, not so much explanations of science. Okay, so one of the things that came out of my endeavor in reading so many books was this infinite probability theory. And I don't want to keep hammering on COVID, but guys, if we're doing gain of function research for whatever reason, for an extended period of time, for hundreds of years, let's say, infinite probability theory says there is going to be a disaster that will release this gain of function virus out into the environment, out into the world. It will inevitably happen. And so where infinite probability also applies, guys, is, and Carl Sagan said it best, right? That the universe is approximately infinite as near as we can tell. So there's an approximately infinite number of suns just like ours. There's an approximately infinite number of planet constructs just like ours, all over this infinite universe. So the likelihood that life exists on other planets is 100% probable. That's the concept of infinite probability. So you can conclude, and I do believe that life exists on other planets. Now, do I think that they would develop socioeconomically the same way that we do? Do I think that, obviously the drive for space travel leads to weaponizing things, but would they exist in the same way that we do? Would they fight the same way that we do? Would they form nation states the same way that we do? Would they exploit each other the same way that we do? And would they have this constant warring notion? And what if they're all genetically libertarians? I think that probably wouldn't happen. You see what I mean?
How many alien libertarian podcasts are there, Tim? That's what I want to know. If we can do that, get the universal translator thing going, I'd listen to some alien libertarian podcasts. I'm recently become a Star Trek fan. Like if the Ferengi had a podcast, I would listen to those guys all day. It'd be entertaining as heck. And someone's going to get that reference to other people like, Kevin, what on earth are you talking about?
No, I get it, dude. I've been a Star Trek fan since, guys, back when I was a kid, we had two channels, right? Saturday night at 7, it was Hee Haw or Star Trek. I chose Star Trek every single time. And I've watched The Next Generation. I watched the later version of the Star Trek, which was kind of lame, really. I want to be honest. But I watched The Next Generation, just finished watching Deep Space Nine. I have Netflix.
So good.
Oh, man.
Love that. I just finished watching Voyager, and I'm going back to watch The Next Generation because I had seen most of them, but not in any order. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this from the beginning, watch the whole thing through. I watched Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, jumping back to this, and then I've seen same thing, the original series, and seen parts of it, and then I've seen parts of Discovery too, like which is okay. I haven't watched Enterprise yet. I'll get to it eventually, doing the full thing. And just as a side note, like relating this back to politics, Justin Amash, also a huge Star Trek nerd, and there's like a long thread where he was describing how you should watch these shows in order and why like libertarians like him like this show that's supposed to be a socialist utopia.
I love it. Look, Star Trek, again, there was like major philosophical arguments and morality plays going on with the backdrop of traveling through space and how we should present ourselves to other life forms. And I love that stuff. I mean, I think that's some of it is how I ended up as a libertarian. Some of it is a genetic belief that people are inherently good, or I don't know if it's genetic. I guess that may be the wrong word, but that belief that people are inherently good, that people can inherently govern themselves, if left to their own devices, I think is a valuable situation, a valuable ideology.
Yeah, no, I like that thought too. Could be true, you know, or could be, and again, could be that like alien, you know, civilizations are so foreign to us that they literally can't even like conceive of how we like communicate and exist with one another too, and we are the equivalent of like, you know, bacteria to them. Like they don't even understand like, well, what are you things? Like we don't get what you are, or why it would be significant for us to pay attention to you too. Like that's the other part of it too. Like we're so like boring and primitive that like it doesn't even matter. Or
either way,
yeah,
the infinite probability theory says that both things are going to exist, that we're way more technologically advanced and intellectually superior to certain planets, and that there are planets and life forms that are going to be way intellectually superior to us and way more advanced than us, depending on your frame of reference, right? Like, what does advanced mean? Like just talking to your computer and to all your friends on the internet, is that actually an advancement? I don't even know, right? You got to kind of put yourself in this whole doubt mode when you're exploring philosophy.
Maybe it sort of is like, I think we've gone off the rails a little bit, but you know, like when I watch like the original series stuff or even Next Generation stuff, when they're like handing like clipboards, like while also like on a spaceship, I'm like, why would you use a clipboard, man? Or even like Deep Space Nine, they're handing each other like pads for everything. Like why doesn't everyone just have one pad? Like why is there like a stack of pads? Who needs that? Just like shoot it over to them, right? Like we've moved beyond that now. It doesn't even matter. Or like, yeah, paper. Like what are you doing with paper on spaceship? It takes up too much weight. Get it out of there.
Yeah.
Or not too much weight.
I love
too
that
much
observation, man. That is perfect. You see that so many times in these shows where they're talking about space things and then they're using something conventional from today. It's just hilarious. Don't worry, we're just a simulation. Guys, there's a 99% chance that we're already in the Matrix. Like the Matrix is already done. Like we're cooked, man. We're in pods. We're generating energy for some sort of, I don't know, nefarious.
So that's next conspiracy. So Will, it's funny. We were talking about this during the break. So Will Phillips says, don't worry, we're just in the simulation. So we're talking about this. And again, this is one of the like fun conspiracy theories, right? Like there's a great podcast, Andrew Heaton, who's like a libertarian comedian, runs, called Alienated the Ions. And he had one that like put me in a weird state of mind, because like, all right, like imagine like someone could in theory develop a computer that could simulate every piece of life on Earth, like every bacteria, every plant, every human. The moment that technology exists, the probability of you being in simulation is extremely high, because you wouldn't know it, right? Like for all we know, we could be like NPCs in some video game, you know, like just operating in the background, or someone running a simulation saying like, hey, you know what happens to Earth's history if we assassinate Abraham Lincoln? Like what if he got assassinated? Imagine if Abraham Lincoln didn't go on to serve like another full term, and that's the simulated reality that we're living in. Someone just wanted to like flip a switch, change one thing, and see what would happen to Earth's history, and we're just like living that out. Like
it seems, in a way, it seems possible, doesn't it? Let's be real. Like the way that things do play out, the way that we could just flip a switch like that, I'm not sure that it's wrong. This is some sort of simulation.
They've created simulations for like nematodes before, right? Like real simple super creatures, you know, like and like you can make a computer program that like thinks it's a nematode and operating in a little like nematode environment. And they basically just break down poo and whatnot. That's what they do. But you can do that with nematode. Could you do it with people? And are we living in that reality? We wouldn't know the difference. You got to kind of like live your life like as if it didn't matter anyway. But I did that. I told my boss that like a couple months ago, and it threw him to a funk for like the full days. Like, oh crap, what if none of this is real? What if this is just we're NPCs in someone's video game, and they're just like messing with stuff, and we don't even
Okay, so look, this brings to mind. I used to bartend, and one of the risks I used to go off on, because I took a lot of philosophy, I take a lot of religion. I was always curious about the existence of extraterrestrial beings or the existence of God. So one of the religious philosophies I ran across is this deal called solipsism. Okay, and the deal about solipsism is basically I'm the only real thing in the universe, and every single other piece of the universe is a piece of my imagination, and I've created everything. And it is so much fun to drive people crazy with that philosophy. They'll lose their minds. They'll try to hit you. They'll try to pinch you. They'll try to convince you that they're real. I'm not kidding. They lose, especially people having a few drinks over.
That's funny, man. No, it's good. I haven't heard about that. All right, so thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. We're just having a little bit of fun on this. Right, basically, this whole day has been Fake News Friday. So, but we're having fun today. We're gonna be back in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Tim O'Connor, co-hosting with me today. Thanks again for joining us here on WYSL and also over on WACK out in Newark and WENI, The Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. or our Facebook pages, a free solution on Facebook, YouTube, the Kevin Wilson pages, the Tim O'Connor page, all those places, wherever you're listening. Thank you for being here. And we're talking conspiracy theory versus conspiracy reality. And we realize we've been having fun with a bunch of stuff last few segments, but we want to talk about, like, there's a few like conspiracy theories that turned out to be real. And I want to mention like a couple of them, right? Like, so we'll talk about like COINTELPRO, however it is, like that was a conspiracy theory for a while. Like, is the FBI like monitoring, infiltrating, and sabotaging like the civil rights movement? That turned out to be totally real. J. Edgar Hoover was like a shady dude. He was absolutely infiltrating some of these movements and trying to sabotage them and doing things like trying to tell Martin Luther King Jr. to kill himself. Like, that stuff really happened.
Yeah. So could you imagine a government that creates an amendment to the Constitution that says everybody needs to stop drinking alcohol, and then they plan and they manipulate, and they're scared of everyone drinking alcohol so much to the point that they poison alcohol supplies so that people actually die from consuming alcohol? Do you guys think that is a conspiracy or a reality?
Yeah, totally actually happened.
It actually literally happened. I think it was either 1,000 or 10,000 people died from this government poisoning of illicit alcohol supplies.
Yeah, we can't have people poisoning themselves with alcohol, so we're just going to poison the alcohol so, they can't drink.
Never underestimate the ability of bad people to make really bad decisions and commit to them at the highest level. Like, okay.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Let's kill people to enforce the law, just like that.
Exactly what happened. Yeah, and that's what, so like I will qualify the statement I made in the first one. It's like, most of the time, I think most conspiracy theories are not possible off, like that. I don't really think the 9/11 truther thing has much merit to it. Some of the other ones, like I'm not sure about like JFK assassination stuff. I'm not sure about definitely, I don't think that we're run by like reptiles or whatever. I don't think like the chemtrails thing is kind of funny to me. Like, I don't think that's a real thing. But there's a few that are actually real. COINTELPRO is one. The poisoning alcohol is another. Also, NSA surveillance, right? Like, like literally like the tinfoil hat type of stuff. Like, oh, the NSA is watching all of us all the time. The national security. That turned out to be like kind of true. Like Edward Snowden, we talked about it. Edward Snowden revealed that stuff. Like, no, they actually were tracking like our keystrokes. They were tracking our metadata. They were tracking like all this stuff with American, like on American citizens through like, these FISA courts, and they're just get these broad-based, non-specific warrants, these general warrants to surveil everyone.
We're being surveilled right now. All of us, we're all being watched. That's the bottom line. We have infinite ability to collect, store, and sort data already. No matter what we want to say, no matter what we want to do, that ability is there. So what are we going to do about it, man? I'm just going to live my life the best way I can and advocate for libertarian causes. But guys, let's talk about Snowden for a second. Even Rand Paul, who seems somewhat libertarian, trashed Snowden. This guy's living in exile now, and all he did was tell the truth. All he did was expose the government reality that they are watching us anytime and every second.
Yeah, let's just point that out. Edward Snowden, he's a hero. He was a whistleblower. He wasn't breaking the law. He was exposing illegal action by the government, and dude still has to live in exile. Totally unacceptable. And I agree with your point yesterday, too, that Trump should have pardoned that guy if he was actually serious about that stuff, because Trump was also subject to what probably ought to have been illegal NSA surveillance, and yet he had the opportunity to do something about it, totally didn't. And also, I want to tack on to one of your other points, too, about like you're going to keep living your life the way you are. The problem with a lot of conspiracy theories, right, is that it can make you feel powerless. It can make you feel like there's nothing you can do to change the situation because some like cabal of people is running everything. They're running big pharma, they're running government, they're running the media, the corporate, like some big cabal is doing that. Like most of the time, it's not really that. It's just people doing their things. There are real legit, like scary, like government actions going on here, and you're not powerless to do stuff about a lot of that. Like you can speak out, you can organize locally, you can like that. That's my my PSA around conspiracy theories is like, even if there is this scary stuff going on, most of it is a bunch of nonsense that I don't think is possible. Some of it does end up being true, but don't let that paralyze you and make you so fearful of this grand conspiracy that you are unable to do anything. And that's important to remember.
I think that's why you and I are having a conversation on Friday. We both ran for office. I think that getting a message out of living the best life you can, of trusting your neighbors, of believing in our reality and believing in each other, regardless of what paranoid, power-hungry people will tend to do when granted too much power to enhance or enforce their paranoia. Guys, here, is this a conspiracy theory? I thought that Governor Andrew Cuomo was going to get impeached. I saw the leader of the Senate and I saw the leader of the House call for his resignation, and subsequently, if he didn't comply, they were going to impeach him. What kind of deal is this? Has this become a conspiracy theory?
I mean, it kind of feels like it sometimes. Right? What happened? Who's Governor Cuomo controlling here?
Everybody, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
feels like
again, a point I tried to make when I was on the Larry Sharpe Show is these guys that we've granted power to, that a lot of people tend to transfer all their personal authority to or autonomy to. Andrew Cuomo, Donald Trump, guys, regardless, people responded to them in the same fashion. They think that everything they say is absolutely the best thing to do. So we cede them our personal responsibility, our personal rights. And when I look at Andrew Cuomo, let's not forget, like him and Trump and Kevin and Tim, we all pull our pants on one leg at a time. We all eat food. We all do things we're everyday human beings. So those mistakes that they make are mistakes that anyone could make. But let's be human and realize that they do make mistakes. They say things that don't make sense, and that they get corrupted by this concept of power. Like beating up on us with weird things.
Which is a good reason not to give them too much power, because they are, at the end of the day, still normal people. And that is okay. And I expect them to be fallible, which is why you shouldn't give them too much power in the first place.
Yeah, let it be a good job, but let's let it just be a job. Like, my God, let's not worship these clowns anymore. No offense, guys. I know people like Andrew Cuomo. I know people like Donald Trump. I don't know. I'm gonna sidestep this one.
If you're offended
like them both.
that we are criticizing Andrew Cuomo on this show, like, surprise, guys, we're going to do that like every episode. Like, I don't think an episode of A Free Solution passes where we don't don't say something mean about Andrew Cuomo. Just got to deal with it.
Been a more polemic figure in the history of New York State? I'm just kidding. In my lifetime, he is by far the most polemic figure. Okay, he places people at opposite ends of political spectrum. He pioneered just, I want to say, the disrespect of upstate New York and rural culture. He literally puts down Kentucky, and Kentucky's leading the way with what I would call progressively reforming legislation in school and progressively reforming notions about individual property rights in a good way. Okay. And he mocks Kentucky. I mean, the guy's like, all right.
Yeah. Okay. So we only got a minute left. So Tim, with 1 minute left, are birds real?
Well, I think if birds are real because I've knocked some down and made dinner out of them. But that's a different thing than.
So there weren't robot parts inside?
Yeah, there's no. I never saw any metal parts. I never saw anything inside. But is the Earth flat? That's the question, guys.
Oh my gosh!
And things take a certain amount of leap of faith. All right, I believe that the Earth is round, but I can argue convincingly that the Earth is flat, and I'm going to do that on the show with you.
Yeah, in the next show, we will spend the entire episode on flat Earth theory. No, I'm kidding, guys. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, host today, with Tim O'Connor co-hosting on Fridays. Again, I will be back Monday and Wednesday. Tim will be on Thursdays now. Larry Sharpe is on Tuesdays. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend.